So let's get back to the weather.
Right. So,
yeah. I mean, Illinois was hit really bad. I mean, some parts of Iowa, Indiana, and even like southwestern Wisconsin, they were hit. I mean, I have some videos as well that I just put in of this twister that hit Illinois. I mean, look at that. The twisting and the swirling and the damage. I mean, just really intense storms.
Because this was mainly like the Effingham area, which if you don't know where that is, that's probably 3 hours
south
east of St. Louis, 2 hours east of St. Louis, 3 to 4 hours south of Chicago. It's way far downstate. It's down there on 70. But, you know, Illinois this year, as we kind of mentioned, has already had the most tornadoes of any state so far this year, and they're fast approaching a record for the state number of tornadoes. So Illinois this year has already gotten an incredible amount of tornadoes for them.
Well, let's introduce Lily. Hi, Lily.
Hi, Lily.
You are new. Good. You are new to our team here at 10 TV, and you had a very busy morning, girlfriend.
It's been a very busy couple weeks. I think every weekend that I've been here, it's been weather impact alert. So
yes,
welcome
welcome to Central Ohio spring. Absolutely. So you were on the air this morning at like 4 a.m. Kind of walk us through when we broke into that coverage in our stream.
Yeah. So initially, me and Meredith went on streaming this morning for a severe thunderstorm warning. For parts of the area. So mostly in the southern counties, we saw that big line that came in from Indiana, pushed through all the way and came down eventually to our southern counties. Once we were streaming with that, we kind of started to see what we call the velocity radar. So we have a thing on our radar that we kind of see where you can see the spin of the winds and how they kind of get started up. And from there, we were like, oh, that looks a little interesting. And then maybe 10 minutes later, they issued a thunderstorm or a tornado warning.
Right. And then, you know, I don't know how much you can speak to this, but obviously we got some of that rain later yesterday evening. Did that affect, you know, really what we saw farther to the north in terms of intensity?
So it was kind of a preliminary event. It kind of gave that initial being like, hey, you've got a warm atmosphere at the bottom, and that can kind of help fuel the storms as they come in. Specifically for the storm that we saw, the line that came in this morning, it didn't really have too much of an impact on it. It gave it like the proper conditions to become a little bit stronger as it pushed in. But for the most part, that line was already so strong by the time it came into our area. Thankfully, we were forecasting it to be a little bit higher originally, but by the time it pushed a little further south, by the time it came in, which was good for our Franklin Metro and our surrounding Columbus Metro, but for our southern counties, it was a little bit.
Yeah. And I know that, you know, even after it moved out of our viewing area, which is basically all the way down to Portsmouth, it moved into that Huntington, West Virginia area, really into West Virginia. And they ended up with a number of tornado warnings later this morning. Wow. And, you know, I don't know how much, because I know you guys are involved in all of these weather channels, weather chats that are going on. You know, did anything come out of those that you've heard so far this morning?
As of this morning, no, but we have been seeing a lot of damage from that initial tornado warning that we saw that we were reporting on earlier today around 4:45, I think. It's 4:30 when that initial one came in. But we've seen lots of damage reports from that. Essentially what came out of that tornado specifically, because that's what I can talk on best, initially was a debris ball, what we call it. So we saw the initial kind of rotator of debris. We see kind of, hey, there's something in the atmosphere right now that we're looking at, and it could indicate having that updraft of having just material in the air. Yeah. So once we saw that, me and Meredith were like, okay, we know it's coming. And then that's when we were checking the velocity radar, seeing the wind spin. And that's where we really saw most of our damage reports over by Elm Grove.
Okay.
Right.
And Amy, she was there this morning, just
down in Pike
really
County.
like walking us through as the sun started to rise when we could really start to see some of that damage. And she takes us there right now. Take a listen.
We're starting to see the damage here in Pike County, specifically the Elm Grove area. As we kind of pan around, you can really see those down wires, and that is kind of the story all across this area. We're right near State Route 32, which was closed throughout the morning because of, you can see this extensive damage. We're seeing many trees down. You can see that business, that barn entirely wrecked from the storm that came through here last night. Now, we did make our way around the area a little bit north of here, Chillicothe, Waverly, not quite seeing the same story as far as damage goes, but I want to come back over here. I'm going to walk this way and kind of pick up one of these branches just because you can't quite tell while you're driving, but this is what we're seeing. It's pretty tall, definitely would make an impact to your car. but it doesn't look like that obviously in some pictures. So just be mindful, these types of situations where there are wires down, you want to make sure you're treating them as a live wire. They've got that entire portion of State Route 32 blocked still for a good reason as they work to clear things out. So just be mindful if you're in this area throughout the day, that is the situation that you will encounter. Be safe and treat everything as a live wire. Reporting in Pike County, Amy Stuggerwald for 10 TV News.
Okay.
So obviously some damage impacts
and
down there.
Before that video, there was a dog running across the screen.
Right.
I mean, like it kind of, havoc was wreaked across that area with all these high winds. Dogs are getting out and running around. So
I guess really, and now that this is all done and over with this morning, really what kind of impacts are we looking at for the rest of the day?
Basically, we've got a flash flood warning for at least the next 30 minutes. So we saw so much rain this morning, and that will kind of linger into the later parts of the afternoon. I'm expecting everything to be cleared out by the time you get later in the afternoon, but today is going to be really breezy. That's our main focus for today. We've got wind speeds, wind gusts up to like 30 miles per hour. So if you're driving outside, you need to watch out for the side road puddles, the floods that you might see on the roads, but also because of the winds. Like semi-trucks, big vehicles are going to have pretty hard times driving on the roads. So that's basically your main impact today.
Okay.
But it's sunny.
Yes.
And tomorrow,
That's great.
sunny.
we love it. We want good weather this weekend for
Yes.
sure with Pride and so many people coming into town. Lily, thank you so much for all your work this morning coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely. So yeah, the power outages Amy was talking about with all those down lines, like we cannot reiterate it enough that do not touch those lines. Do not approach them. If you see one down, just call 911. First responders will come out. They kind of block off the road just to help people not even drive over them, just to kind of stay clear until like the electric companies can get out there.
Right, and we were taking a look at those kind of all morning long. So
I have
really
them pulled
that
up right now,
okay, because I was gonna say that area that goes through
So-
is
So right now the outages have improved a lot since this morning. I mean, at one point there was like 4,000 people in the southern part of like our coverage area without power. But right now there's about 394 outages kind of in like Gahanna area. And then if we move up towards Newark, Alexandria, 231 without power. And then it's kind of sporadic in central Ohio. But then when we move down to like the southern part near Chillicothe, Ross County, Pike County, I'm pulling up the map here. It says there are still.
there's a look at South
Oh,
Central
there we go.
Power.
Yep, over 1,000 without power right now.
Right, so that is all mainly.
And that's near Piketon and Waverly, and that's
right,
where Amy was this morning.
yes.
Just so much lightning, like every 10 seconds. The thunder, we saw it all this morning with her, and that's where she was with that live shot. So I'm sure crews are out there trying to get it restored as quickly as possible. But when they're navigating down lines, there's a safety factor to all of this and what they're doing.
Challenges with that. Let me go ahead and pull in the AP Ohio map as well, and that'll give us a look at some of Central Ohio as well, because obviously, so South Central really handles that southern part of the state. Here in Central Ohio, not a lot.
Right. See how I said it's sporadic? It's just kind of all around the
right.
metro, but normally, but up towards like, the eastern part, like Gahanna, there's more outages.
And we get down here towards the West Virginia, where we did see a couple extra tornado warnings pop off this morning. Some people without power, though. Both of those power companies, though, expecting power restoration sometime by midday.
Right, because we know the weather, it has moved out. It's going to be pretty nice for the rest of the day. So I'm kind of glad that, it happened when a lot of people were asleep,
Yeah.
Just didn't have to, it wasn't during rush hour or anything. So Lily, Meredith, thank you for your coverage this morning. And thank you for keeping all our viewers safe. So